as we are into game number 1 of our first qualifying match, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of this is into the group stages of King of Battles 3, as it is MAXPAX in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn.
In the bottom left side, there he is, the Finnish phenom, the Blue Zerg, the one and only Serral. He's been close to winning the previous one, of course, the runner-up in the King of Battles 2, losing only to Maru. And I'm sure he would like to try his hand once again at this, at the throne for the King of Battles. We should make a throne, actually.
Make a throne.
We should make an NFT throne for the King of Battles.
Yes.
Yes.
No crowns, only thrones.
Whoever wins gets the throne.
Yeah. And as soon as you lose, you have to transfer that over, unfortunately.
We could make it out of the heads of their enemies.
Yes.
Literally, we take the pictures, we make it. No, all right. I'm going too deep with this idea now. All right, what's happening in the game so far? It's nothing too crazy, is it? MAXPAX staying on his side of the field with his building. Serral doing the same.
Yeah. The exciting part about MAXPAX and Serral is always the fact that these players get to play a lot, and I think MAXPAX always brings a very unique style to these matches and how they end up going. I mean, of course, Serral is always going to be favored. He's the world champ. He's, the best in the world right now. He's just currently the greatest player. And so he's always going to be favored. And what we saw in Katowice was that Serral was, I think he wasn't really, pushed until that Rainer series. That's when we saw him, I think, reach his best. And in that series, it was just constant action. The micro, we saw, even though a lot of people have been saying, hey, Serral, he won his world championships. Is he going to be able to reach that form again?
Mm-hmm.
Is he washed up? And Serral showed,
the infamous question.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, we know Serral's good, but is he going to be able to reach that dominance again? And Serral showed that, yeah. He is. His micro was back up to par. His decision-making was back up to par. He was playing that style where he was sitting back and he was absorbing pressure and finding counterattacks and Ling run-bys that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's also difficult as a spectator of the sports, right? To really estimate, like, all right, we know the outcome of the previous match, and now watching them again, the slight differences that could make the difference in winning or losing the game. Sometimes it's because this guy is doing this a little bit less well, or sometimes it's because the other guy just got a little bit better enough in certain areas where suddenly, the other guy just looks worse, even though he's not actually worse. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like might be the case for Serral, because when we had an interview with him the previous time, I kind of asked him this, maybe in an incorrect way. I kind of asked him, like, what's your take on this? And what I meant was, like, do you feel like everyone is just better? Or, is there something to it? Do you just feel like, you're not on your A game? But no, he feels like he is on his A game. And I think that has been his way of thinking about it, forever. So, I'm just trusting that, man. If he's saying I'm still on my A game, I'm just saying everyone else is just so much better now.
Yeah. We do have, interestingly enough, MAXPAX is not dissuaded by the fact that the Void Ray has been nerfed into the ground, and he actually says, no, I actually think it's even better, as that's going to be 3 Stargates.
What?
For MAXPAX.
What? MAXPAX.
He goes Void Ray first. Yeah, 3 Stargates into Phoenix production now, and I mean, this is, if you've ever seen a Blackburn build, this is a Blackburn build. Zest would look at this build and he'd say, that looks balanced. That looks about right. That's how the game is supposed to be played. Because this is, I mean, we're going to see how it ends up really turning out. You see Serral here is actually looking for information. He has Lings all around the map, is trying just to figure out, all right, what units are being produced, what is going on, and we're going to see, is this triple Phoenix? What?
Triple Phoenix?
No way. No way. It's triple Phoenix.
It is, yeah. I'm not sure what to think about this. I mean, is he going to try to keep it hidden, you know? For how long is he going to... He's not going to keep it hidden for long. Just an Overlord is flying in right here. Get the Void Ray there. Quick.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, Serral scouting once again proves to be indomitable. I mean, he scouts 3 Stargate Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which is... It's interesting because we've actually seen a lot of Protoss be experimenting with 2 Stargate Phoenix into like these attacks with ground units. I think Hero has been doing it where he'll start with ground units, maybe go Adepts, get a pretty decent Adept count, make it look like potentially Glaives, and behind it have 2 Stargate Phoenix, and then use those Phoenix just to completely take control of the map, kill Queens, stop any pushes across the map, and from there then transition back into ground units. And it's a really interesting playstyle. We already have 9 Phoenix out on the map. That's a few, and we're going into +1 as well, so they're going to be even more dangerous. And as this count continues to climb, we're going to have to see Serral match it in Queens, and if he ever steps out of position, those are some very dead Queens.
Yeah. I mean, it's enough Phoenix where I'm almost feeling like, you know, just make 2 Spore Crawlers in every base. You know, just make sure that you manage these Phoenix a little bit better. There's 2 Spore Crawlers here, actually. A lot of Queens. But look at that. Even with that, you still have 7 drones picked up just by flying by. And they're not done yet. 10 drones. Well, I guess all the Phoenix are dying now. They are pretty much dead.
Yeah, I mean, MAXPAX commits really hard in there. Gets 10 drones, but the focus fire from Serral was so good. That was really, I mean, I don't think that was the right move there from MAXPAX. I mean, again, I think this is a really interesting builder. It's like a bit more kind of committed in than what we've seen like Hero do with the 2 Stargate Phoenix into mass ground units. But I do not think that was the right call there with that dive. I mean, 13 workers, Serral's still at 74. I mean, sure, MAXPAX is at 75, but the Zerg, I think, is completely comfortable with getting rid of that many Phoenix.
Yeah, and then also getting a little bit of a delay here for this gold base. I just feel really good about for Serral, you know, because, well, he has this going right now. He knows he can get away with droning quite heavily for the time being because of this investment into Phoenix. There's not going to be much of another big threat coming in except for that. So as long as you're safe against Phoenix, you know, you can get away with just tacking up and getting that drone count where you want it to be. A couple of roaches, a couple of corruptors here and there, but yeah, just dirty stuff there for Serral being set up for the later parts of this game. And air weapons, Flux Veins finishing up here with more Void Rays as well in the production. So MAXPAX just a full committal to the air tools, regardless of any patches or anything like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, the Flux Veins, of course, you're going to have that speed with your Void Rays, and it's going to be just in time for these Corruptors that are being produced. Serral already getting into the Greater Spire, so it's going to be heading towards those Broodlords in that late game Zerg composition. The Queens, the Broodlords, and the Infestors. Alongside those Corruptors, help to just kind of make everything work very, very nicely. Adrenal Glands on the way, +1 melee attacks, ranged weapons as well, so Serral still trying to build up this ground army for these counterattacks. To make sure that he can find run-bys still with these small groups of units while we're still kind of in the mid-game. But it just feels like right now, I mean, MAXPAX, he's kind of camping up onto these 4 bases. He's actually even on bases with the Zerg right now. And he just wants to build up an army that's going to beat the Zerg in a straight-up fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what Serral's plan is here. Like, he probably will get aggressive with just maybe 2 or 3 Broodlords, I'm imagining. Like, pushing in now with the Zergling Roach and just a handful of Corruptors doesn't really feel like it should get anything done. Just want to wait out a little bit longer here. The same could be said for MAXPAX, honestly, right? What you're going to do pushing out with those Void Rays. You might be able to find a base somewhere, I suppose, or a couple of Corruptors.
Oh my god, there's so many Void Rays.
Actually, picking up most of the Queens here.
This is insane. I mean, there's so many Phoenix. All the Queens are getting lifted off. And the Void Rays, they just absolutely chew through everything. This is absolutely crazy as, oh, Baneling run by. Good amount of damage, could have gotten more, I think, but 10 probes go down. Look how much he's losing across the map.
Yeah.
So many overlords are falling, but a counterattack finds its way into the natural. These Void Rays, though, can just clean it up. I don't know if MAXPAX is going to take a ton of damage, but great parasitic bomb onto these units. 31, 33, so many probes going down. MAXPAX is just trying to continually push this across the map. Prismatic alignment is activated. The Void Rays, there's still a lot of them left over as the natural base has been cleaned up. Zealots are in the main, so MAXPAX, he's going to be able to start mitigating the damage, but he might just lose these Void Rays across the map. As it's just such a weird development. MAXPAX pretty much went like pseudo all in there to try and find like almost game-ending damage.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it came down to just a slight mismanagement of those Corruptors as well from Serral, right? The Roaches and the Zerglings moving forwards there, kind of getting a scout, but then leaving them there for a bit. And the Void Rays just arrive, activate that Prismatic alignment, take out a couple of them, the Phoenix give chase while the Corruptors try to get away. And it just became such a difficult fight for Serral because he didn't have that initial amount of Corruptors for the rest of his Corruptors to join in with, and then it's just such a snowbally event for the amount of Void Rays that MAXPAX had.
Yeah, I mean, the parasitic bomb really did so much work there in clearing out so many Phoenix. It's a situation where MAXPAX is losing, workers, and Serral's losing units, and that's the Zerg is fine with that because you can always replenish those units. The Protoss has to come back to defend their mineral line, to stop from losing too much, and so it ends up being a situation where I think the trade, it's not that bad for Serral, but here's the thing. This ground army now that MAXPAX is assembling, it's +1 right now. Charge lots, Archons. And
what's he got against the Broodlords though? Does he still have a good amount of Void Rays? I guess he does. Yeah, that is a good amount of Never mind.
and you're going into Broodlords, Broodlord Corruptor versus Mass Void Rays.
Yeah.
It feels like this army composition for MAXPAX is coming together quite nicely. It's all going to come down to the actual fight, though. Can you manage it correctly? Spore Crawlers are lifted off.
I think one of the problems here for Serral is that you can't run away with your army anymore because the Broodlords are too slow. So as soon as MAXPAX wants that engagement, I guess you have the Prismatic alignment there as well. Serral keeps those Corruptors and Broodlords close by one another. Okay, MAXPAX kind of moving away again. I think that was the right call.
I think it was, MAXPAX can't really commit on in here right now.
It was a big
Broodlords
for him.
Yeah, Broodlords make it too hard for the Archons to find any way in. And overall, I think it's just really difficult. Oh my god, the wall's open again. Nice warp-ins, though, to stop the Zergling Zealots. Gonna be able to start to clean up a few of these lanes. They're on equal upgrades as Archon's pushing away the Corruptors, and Serral not gonna be able to find his way in. A good denial there from MAXPAX, who is working on Tempest now to try and make this. Really, the Tempests are your option for the late game. They are what's going to allow you to pick away at the Corruptors, at the Broodlords. The Void Rays stop the Zerg from diving on to your army.
Yeah. It is one of those units where you continuously have to be very active, though, I feel like as well. If you sit back with Tempest, you're just not gaining the value that you could.
Absolutely, as that base is going to be canceled, and MAXPAX still trying to macro up into this late game of Protoss Death Ball. Storm is on the way, +3 ground weapons, and now a few carriers going to be added on as well. Although, carriers, of course, I'm not sure about their usefulness against this army. They can just get harpooned. They can get one shot. We've seen Protoss start to realize that the carrier really, in these late game situations, it puts so much of the control in the hands of the Zerg, and when they can take engagements, how the fight goes, because the carrier doesn't have a lot of micro ability. You don't have those options for controlling it that you do with units like the Void Rays and the Tempests.
Nice run by Zerglings, finding a blue ball of Nexus. Now Infestus, Neural Parasite coming along, like Serral's just unlocking all the different techs that the Zerg could bring to the table here. The Spore Crawler's already pretty much next to the gold base. This is looking a little bit scary for MAXPAX. Luckily for him, he does have his own infrastructure here, of course. The cannons and some shield batteries, I would imagine. Not too far removed from that mineral line.
Yeah. I mean, Serral's claimed this high ground position, which makes it so hard to commit in with your ground army. But the Tempests, I mean, again, those are really the key here. Do they have... I believe they actually don't even have tectonic destabilizers, so you're not going to get that extra damage against the Spore Crawlers. You have enough of them, though, that I don't think it really matters. As, I mean, Serral's going to start to knock down this gold base in MAXPAX. This is really his only mining base. He hasn't been able to get up his 5th. Serral's constantly been denying it as these Vipers trying to move forward. Tempest continually trying to poke at it, and you can see here they can one-shot these Broodlords, and that's absolutely what you need to do. Look for the Queens, look for the Broodlords, and now Banelings rolling on into the natural, another Warpin, not going to be able to block it away. And there's just no units to help clean this up right now.
Man, yeah, this is MAXPAX up against the wall, not very much to go anywhere. The Broodlords just chipping away as I guess MAXPAX's army is still very, very intimidating. I guess it could get a big swing. There's not an incredibly massive bank there for Serral, right? If he loses his entire army right now, it would still be difficult for him to remax. But is it gonna get there? I don't know. I think maybe MAXPAX's opportunities would have lied more so with counterattacks, maybe perhaps once Serral takes that an aggressive position with his Broodlords and his Corruptors and the Queens, right? If you have Zealot Rumdice coming through the top or the bottom at that point, maybe you're going to be able to open up the middle there a little bit again, but yeah, I don't know. Just as it is right now, how are you ever going to attack Serral into that, right? I don't... It's definitely not a task I'm all too keen on trying out myself. In any way, shape, or form.
33 workers right now. Oh, 4 MAXPAXs. That's a great snipe. I mean, Tempests are actually going to try and snipe down. I think some of the Vipers managed to get a few, but the Tempests are down. Maybe the Microbial Shroud pop. The Queens just take no damage from those carriers, even with the +2. And MAXPAX has gone up to, I mean, 6 Stargates, but 6 Stargates, and you don't have air upgrades. You have +2 flyer air weapons, you don't have shields, you don't have armor. And right now you're looking at a Serral who's getting both the flyer attacks and the Carapace upgrades.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Serral taking like the 12 o'clock over here. Or maybe even like the middle base somewhere, you know, just start really taking some of those extra minerals in. Making sure that if it does go to a longer part of the game, he's already ensured that he's... you know, he's gotten some of the extra minerals that MAXPAX might not be able to get. Yeah. Then again, I guess he already denied that gold base, right? So I guess that is a bit of the same effect as long as he keeps a foothold there.
I mean, right now, Serral just has the entire map at his disposal. It's just hard for Serral to push into the Protoss army at this moment. It's 144 army supply of air units. Even if they don't have the best upgrades, they're still extremely dangerous to try and dive into.
It's 32 probes right now. It's only 32 probes.
Yeah, but oh, nice fungals. Trying to snipe off the High Templar. Those feedbacks aren't going to get enough of the targets that you want, as that's another massive fungal. All the parasitic bombs as well, hitting absolutely everything. And MAXPAX is just taking so much damage. He's now going to try and force a fight. He realizes that he's taken too much damage. He needs to try and just make something happen now as Serral. That was absolutely disgusting. I think he's just going to pull back. I mean, the Infestors are dead, so he doesn't need to fight here. He just picks off units, pulls everything back. Serral, clean game 1. Bottom left-hand corner from Esports. The Finnish phenom himself, the one, the only Serral.
And in the top right side, a yellow Protoss. The Danish... What's a good word for the... well, we'll call him MAXPAX. The Danish... Drilling Meister. No, that's not really...
The Danish Destroyer.
The Drill Master. The Drill Sergeant. Is he a Drill Sergeant? Not really either, is he? What would fit him? The Danish.
The Danish deviant.
The Danish deviant. Yeah, that's all right.
We're now in Detroit. Become human. That's
Danish
why
prince,
MAXPAX.
But it doesn't start with 2 Ds, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it would be a great as MAXPAX is faking the cannon rush. I feel like, you know, MAXPAX. We haven't seen his face. There's absolutely a chance that he's actually just a robot AI that has gone rogue and is now playing StarCraft 2.
Yeah. Serral not really falling for it, right? Only bringing the 1 drone down there for most of it, and then bringing the second one just in case. So gets away pretty scot-free there with that fake.
Ah, Kozan.
What's up?
The Prince of Protoss.
The Prince of that would be better. That would be better.
There we go.
But then we're leaving the Danish out, right? I feel like
the Duke of the Danes.
The Dukes of, oh, there we go. There it is. The Duke of the Danes. There it is. That's the one.
Yes. Slowly falling.
Slowly falling.
Great.
Bringing it in. Bringing it in.
But yeah, I mean, I always remember whenever I see a fake cannon rush, I always think back to the days of SOS when pretty much if SOS put a pylon down, you had to respect it because there was a 95% chance that it could be a cheese, and the 5% that it wasn't a cheese, it was something else that would lead to the cheese.
Right.
And so you want to get rid of the pylon, and so it was just pretty much a situation where you had to really respect it. Of course, no one really cheeses that much anymore. I think Haas is the only player who really is even that aggressive, but even he has pulled it back just because the state of the game. You know, people have gotten so good at dealing with this stuff that you have to, people are used to dealing, and so it's hard to make those builds work out.
They've all familiarized themselves with all those things, and you know, after a while, you just know what's gonna happen, and you know exactly what to do against it. You've practiced what to do against it multiple times as well. It just becomes a part of your repertoire, you know. And then, yeah, like you said, the game starts to settle more and more. Perhaps something could be said, though, of course, once the game, right, kind of that cyclical nature of StarCraft 2, once the game is settled for a long time, people may not be as comfortable anymore with holding some of the cheeses and aggressions that they just haven't seen for a long time anymore. But usually, if that happens, it's pretty quick where people readjust and, you know, just are like, oh, right, yeah, this is what we did, and then it's not suddenly going to shift the meta anymore, you know. It's more so like it might make an appearance here and there. Yeah. All right.
It's how I think things just ebb and flow kind of with StarCraft 2. There's always, you know, when you have, and I think it was more so when we had a lot more balance patches, a lot more often. You know, when new things would come in and out, then that's when you would see, you know, cheese resurface, go away, you know, come back. But it does mean that now there's a catalog of things that are very, very, they're kind of like good enough that you can use consistently. So, for instance, for a while it was the proxy void ray. Now that's been nerfed. I don't know if we're really going to see it anymore. As well, MAXPAX is going to run it back with this build. So, is saying, listen, I know I lost that last game, but I think I can make it work. Is going triple Stargate +1. It's going to be Phoenix production and Serral. Look at that. It's an Overlord. Right side of the map. This man knows how to scout.
Does he have speed again? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the lair yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Slowly floating.
Slowly floating. Yeah, this... I mean, it's going to get the scout out, and again, Serral is just so diligent with his scouting, and the Phoenix actually move away, so should be able to see the 2, and then keep moving in. We'll see the 3rd, and I mean,
sorry, it's just so funny to me where you're hiding the Phoenix, but then there's still like all these Phoenix in the Stargates being produced. It's like, yeah. Alright, sorry, that was more funny than me than perhaps it had to be. But this feels so awkward, you know.
It really does feel like a situation where, I mean, if you want to go for this triple Stargate, I feel like you should be trying at least in some way to hide it. As I mean, I can't hold this back anymore because I've been keeping track of this on the other on one of my other tabs. But while there's not much going on here, we have the Phoenix poking around. Milky Cow just won game 1 against Raynor.
He did? Wow.
He did in a late game ZVZ CVT.
Man,
I am like,
imagine if Milky Cow qualifies.
I
just
know.
as in the winners bracket as well.
He's actually playing out of his mind, and I
feel like I shouldn't have said that. I may have jinxed it now, but he can blame me because of it if it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that will make him feel better.
We are going to keep an eye on that. We will keep you guys updated, and I mean, I definitely hope that that's a series that we will get to perhaps cast from replay for the YouTube, because I mean, just that game 1 seems to be absolutely amazing. I really would love to see how those games go, as it's Fleet Beacon on the way for MAXPAX, and this game looks like it's kind of turning out exactly how it did last time. I mean, we're going to be seeing MAXPAX potentially go, I mean, probably go into Void Race here with Flux Veins. Still harassing with his Phoenix, and I will give this to MAXPAX. In this game, has not thrown away as many Phoenix as he did in game 1. I think that was a really big issue for MAXPAX, where he lost so many Phoenix and he had to replenish them that his build was just delayed.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you there. Just trading out for those 10 drones really wasn't worth it. When Serral already was so comfortable, so ready, knowing that he was going to be able to get away with a fair bit of droning, right? You're going to make up for those losses quite quickly, being the Zerg player. And yeah, just keeping the functionality of the Phoenix around. You get the scouting, you get the intel, you're going to continuously force stuff like this to happen, right? Pulling those drones. Much better. I agree. Corrupt is starting to get into the field though, and their numbers are increasing quite quickly. And we don't have that many Void Rays on the map this time around. We're also going from Phoenix straight into carriers this time around.
Yeah, so not even really adding on a high Void Ray count. I think that's interesting because I felt like the Void Rays actually did a lot of work. I mean, we saw MAXPAX was able to get so many Queen kills in that first game, and you know, a lot of Corruptor kills, but I felt like he committed too far in, and he eventually ended up losing out on that trade when the Vipers came out and cast Parasitic Bomb. But I feel like it really, I mean, I really would have liked to see if he had backed out there how that game 1 would have been different, but MAXPAX just says, listen, I'm going to change into the carriers and Serral. I mean,
doing this?
Those queens are walking across the map, Kozan.
I'm still waiting for them to turn around. Hold up. They will. Right? They must.
I mean, there's
that's the overlords.
Well.
Oh, that's the creep.
They're gonna drop creep. Oh, this is. Serral does not want this game to go late. He has seen that he's not done enough damage. The Corruptor is going to dive on top of the Phoenix. They actually can start to one-shot them, and the Phoenix are the brunt of the army here.
Lord Corruptors are taking a bit of a beating. A lot of them in the orange. Need to wait for the creeps so they can get healed. Immediately drops down the Tumus as well. And this is a pesky situation. Serral a little bit ahead on that overall military supply. Is that going to be enough though? With defender's advantage here for MAXPAX. MAXPAX holding on tightly in the corner. No AoE spells really ready, right? No fungal, no vials sometimes being thrown out, but that's about it.
I mean, this is getting a little bit sketchy here for MAXPAX. I don't know if he has enough. I mean, has Shield Battery Overcharge even been, has it been used yet?
I don't know exactly, but to be fair, like, what's the damage he's suffered so far? Like, he's lost a gateway or two, maybe a pylon. If he still stabilizes, it might be okay. This army supply definitely getting quite close now. Now it's gonna get important not to lose too many probes, of course.
This is starting to snowball a little bit. 19 probes are going to go down. The natural base is forfeit. As, I mean, MAXPAX trying to warp in. Archon, he needs to get rid of these units is the thing. Sure, he hasn't taken game-ending damage yet, but Serral right now is on 4 bases. He's taking a 5th, going up into a hive. You need to get rid of this army and find a way out. And here we go. He's going to try and collapse onto the Queens of the Corruptor as well. The Roaches aren't there. Manages to get a few liftoffs, but the army comes back. The carriers getting so much value. As the Void Rays Oh, continue to fire. The Corruptors just doing this dance and picking off as many units as they can. The Queens all go down, and the Roaches should get cleaned up. But, I mean, Serral picked off so much. He killed a base. He's going to continue to build Roaches behind this.
I'm keeping my eye on the army supply of MAXPAX. It's still on 74. I'm not sure if that is enough remaining here to really make a, a counter-attack that contributes to a victory here. It just seems a little bit lacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's too much damage. Well, I mean, in other situations against other players, I might have a different take on this, but you just gotta play a perfect game against someone, the world champion right now.
That's true. As more Roaches coming in, Serral, he's actually going to continue to try and find damage. He knows that he's, ahead right now, but he can continue to take trades as he picks off units, backs on up. And right now, MAXPAX just trying to recover, getting into +2 air weapons, more Void Rays in production. Carriers are finally going to start back up.
Yeah.
But behind this, looking at Serral. He's on 5 bases. Ultras. Greater Spire. Adrenal Glands. Their Vipers now out. It just feels like... MAXPAX wasn't ready for that push. And because of it, Serral has been able to just compound his lead behind of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Serral's not taking any risks. He wasn't just continuously making more units and Roaches and stuff, right, to be sent in, trying to make a push happen that perhaps didn't have to work right then and there as a killing blow. Just getting a base more than enough. Now, like you said, set up, stocked up on supplies. It's a tough game. But then again, army supplies still pretty close, right? If Serral does make a misplay, which happens sometimes, occasionally, it could still flip upside down. We'll have to see. Do you think there's a way for MAXPAX, right? That's kind of what I'm wondering. How would you... What would be his best way to actively look for the win here?
I think right now... I think the best bet for MAXPAX is just trying to max out. And
just turtle?
He can get into this game, I think. Because he has a 5th base on the way. Mind you, it was the natural that died. It wasn't the 3rd or the 4th, which are obviously the more important bases.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was able to clean up Serral's army, that means that there's still a lot left here for MAXPAX to work with, but you just have to be careful. And he's going to lose a carrier here already, as the Corruptors and Vipers are now just roaming around. It's a situation where, when it comes down to that micro battle, when it comes down to that big fight, MAXPAX can have enough to make it work, but it's gonna come down to the micro, and that's just a situation where I don't know if you can beat Serral right now.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to find something, but most of the time right now, Serral's finding something, and that's the opposite of what MAXPAX wants, of course. Then again, 118 army supply. It is on creep. I don't think there's that many Spore Crawlers just quite yet. Although, never mind. Wow! That's a big wall. Yeah, Serral not leaving anything up to chance here. Wants this qualification to finish right here. MAXPAX, this is such a rough one, right? If you win this one, as Serral, you're just in. If MAXPAX wins this best of 3, he avoids how many games he would have to play in the loser bracket? Is that just one? No, he would have to play 2, right?
Yeah, 2 series.
2 more series. And that's going to be against players such as, Rainer and Milky Cow and either Serral or MAXPAX. That's going to be crazy too.
Both these players, reaching maxed out. The banks are starting to get ridiculous as upgrades are coming through. And MAXPAX is finally, this game he's going to be able to get up to +3 ship weapons. And that's going to be so massive for these carriers. The ground army is going to be able to get up to +2 as well. Right now, Serral is just getting upgrades. He's maxed out. He's sitting on an army that he's pretty happy with. 8 Brute Lords, Vipers. He doesn't have Infestors added in just yet. I think that's the final piece that you really want. But he can trade out those Roaches. They can counterattack with them and try and trade them out at any point in this game once his upgrades are complete. Right now, you're just looking for picks. Pick off a carrier here and there. You're not committing too hard in because you know that as is right now, if you play the waiting game, your army will just be better the longer this game goes.
Yeah. Yeah, you maybe want to try to find ways to avoid MAXPAX from taking too many bases, because then, you know, you're kind of letting him get back into this. MAXPAX, with that wonderful Zealot run by, gets a hatchery. And the bank for Serral, it's up to 5k minerals, 3k gas. It's starting to get a little bit silly. It definitely is. But, I mean, MAXPAX, he's got some bank in there as well. I don't think we should call this game by any stretch just quite yet, actually, but... No. Oh, the mothership. Hello. Surprise.
Oh, well, that mothership is unfortunate. Ooh,
get out of there.
That was a really nice recall, actually. I don't know what happened to the abduct, but...
Can you cancel abduct with a recall? Is that a thing?
That's what I think just happened, because I thought the abduct went down onto the mothership, but the recall canceled it.
Huh. Imagine if you could cancel recall with abduct, though. That would be crazy, too. It would probably be more broken than that. Than the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, infestors are now being added in as units are traded out. Serral getting up to the ultimate late game army. +3 flyer carapace on the way. No parasite has the +2 flyer attacks. Not started up the +3 for that just yet. But MAXPAX is pushing. And this is the army. I believe the mothership is elsewhere, so you can recall this army away if you need to. And I mean, that's how you should be using the mothership in PvC. I feel like that's what Protoss players have realized, is that you can't have the mothership with the army. It doesn't really add that much. It's just going to get picked off. But if you use it for recalls, you suddenly have a lot more maneuverability with this Sky Toss army than you would otherwise.
Yeah. It allows you to be essentially at 2 places at once, right? You can pick and choose your battle. You can be like, alright, is this a place where I can take a fight right now? Oh, you have all your Broodlords here? Let me go to the other side.
Oh, there we go.
Those 13 workers go down. Those Corruptors are getting killed. That base is gonna fall. And Serral's just gonna be there, you know, you can see the Broodlords on the minimap slowly waddling their way over with those slow infestors and queens underneath as well.
Oh, the carriers pick off some of the Vipers. As I mean, the Broodlords are just like, this feels like completely useless, but that's a great fungal. But where's the spellcast? There's no more Vipers. They all got killed.
Oh, the Broodlords.
Oh, Broodlord's going down. The Queen's trying to fight, but you need these parasitic bombs right now, but there's no more fungal growths. Finally, one is going to go down as the Corruptors are going to dive on in, and now Serral is going to try and dive on top of this army, and he absolutely shreds through it.
Wow. Right, I thought there was a moment of panic there, but then suddenly so decisive. All those Corruptors just realizing, no, this is something I win now. I think that maybe the prismatic alignment just finishing up there of the few Void Rays that were still there. Whatever it was, Serral seeing that opportunity perfectly and getting rid of most of that Protoss force. Still some Zealot cleaning duty to be done by the Zerglings. I'm sure they don't mind. Stalker harassment as well. MAXPAX trying to keep this kind of aggressive play up, which makes sense because you need this moment now to kind of recreate those carriers, right? And your mothership and stuff. So, kind of preoccupying Serral a little bit. I like it. Keeping him away from your side of the map as well. Alright, well, you know. Ups and downs. The Zergling run by there, not getting too much done either. Serral taking a bit more control for his side of the map as well. But this is actually him going up to the same amount of bases as MAXPAX, so... Middle bases might be the the point of contention.
Absolutely is.
What do you think?
We are. I mean, this game has gone to a point where, I mean, after that decisive fight, it is, of course, extremely hard now for MAXPAX to try and recover. As mothership immediately goes down, and that's an unfortunate catch. As I mean, Serral, really the name of the game now is just bleeding out your opponent. You stop them from taking bases. You continue to get picks because you won that decisive fight. MAXPAX is the one rebuilding. He's the one, chewing through his bank. It's just, it is so hard for MAXPAX to get back into this game unless Serral gives him the time. But also, mind you, Serral's army right now is Broodlords. It's Corruptors. It doesn't kill your opponent that quickly. So it's still going to be hard for Serral to try and close out this game. But I mean, if there's ever if there's a single misstep from MAXPAX here, and that's really all that it's going to take.
If I could, yeah, I mean, Serral, he does seem to be, in comparison to some other Zergs, taking a little bit longer taking those middle bases. Perhaps he feels confident enough that he can be, efficient enough with the bases that he has, which he's definitely doing, right? The trade efficiency is through the roof right now for Serral so far. But it does put him in a bit of a situation like this, where army supply is still a little bit close, and his bank is just not really what it potentially could be.
I mean, right now, MAXPAX splitting up his army. It's a small run by there. At the bottom right is going to be able to take out a base of Serral's. Because, I mean, Serral's bank right now is not as high as it feels like it should be. He hasn't been able to get really map control. And a massive amount of bases. That's a huge fungal. There's another one that can chain it. Where are the Vipers for the parasitic bombs, though? They need to get that spell cast off, but Serral doesn't want to commit in just yet. He picks off all of the Archons, and now he's going to commit on in. There we go. Parasitic bomb on everything. And that's going to be the army absolutely getting blown to the high heavens. And MAXPAX, he missteps once, and his whole army is going to fall to the ground.
Yep, once again, well played by Serral there, utilizing those spellcasters every time. And even there, doing some neurals, being super efficient with that as well. GG is called. Serral is our first qualified player for the King of Battles number 3, and will be joining Maru once again in that main event.